Welcome back to your Semester 1 Algebra 1 final review. We're looking at problem 44, which is talking all about ice cream, so I know it's a good problem because I love ice cream. However, at first glance, this problem seems pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of words, there's kind of a scary looking graph, and the answers have like multiple sentences too. It's pretty different than most of what we've seen so far. So let's try to break it down. This manufacturer has two constraints or two issues that they need to keep in mind when they're making ice cream. They need at least 60 gallons and they have a cost limitation. They can't spend more than $400. So the gallons and the money are the reason that we have two lines here. One of these lines, and I don't know which, and it actually doesn't matter, but one of these lines, and I'm making this up, is going to be the boundary line that separates the gallons of ice cream that you're allowed to have, and the other one is going to separate the amount of money that you're allowed to make. And so we have two boundary lines, and what we should realize is with a system of inequalities, we're trying to shade the spot, the perfect spot that contains all the combinations, in this case of ice cream, that we're allowed to make. So let's take a look through. I'm not even going to look at any of the other numbers yet. We're just going to take a peek at this shaded region right here. There are a bunch of points in this shaded region. Each of these points is going to do two things, and I'm just going to look at one of them really quickly. Let's look at this point. Oh, I don't know. How about, yeah, let's do, what's a good one on here? How about this one right here? Let's do the point 20, comma, 45. See the 45 over here? Now, without doing any math, I know something about this 20 comma 45. 20, the x, means we're doing 20 gallons of cherry ice cream, and the y, which is up here, is our vanilla, means we have 45 gallons of vanilla. And that, again, because it's in the shaded region, tells us two pieces of information. I know that first, this total is going to be at least 60. Would you agree that 20 plus 45, that's 65? Is that at least, if not bigger than 60? Well, sure, 65 is bigger than 60. And I know that it is not going to cost more than $400 to make that. Now you could do the math. You could of course take your $8 per cherry ice cream, and you could also take your $5 per vanilla ice cream, multiply it, add it up, and you'll find that that answer is less than 400. But I don't need to, because the point was in the shaded region, which means that it worked to accomplish both of these goals. At least 60 gallons, but less than $400. Now, what are we actually trying to do? They said, is it possible to produce 10.5 gallons of cherry and 55 gallons of vanilla? Well, I think all we need to do is graph that point. So I'm looking for the point 10.5, cherry is the x, comma 55. And let's see where that lands on my graph. 10.5 comma 55. So I'm going to erase all this extra stuff in here. We have 10.5. Well, this is 15. 10.5 is really, really close to 10, comma 55. 55 is right here. You'll notice anywhere between 10 and 15 is still going to land us up here. If you're like, oh wait, I thought it was over here, that's fine. It's still going to land us inside. But 10.5 comma 55 will be right about there. And we need to notice that that point lands within the shaded region. And if it lands within the shaded region, then it is good to go. So let's take a look at our options. No, it would not be viable or allowed to produce this, right? And, well, no, that's not true. It is allowed. If it's in the shaded region, that is what we want. So I think A and B are both out. Then we come into C and D. C, yes, it's viable. Yes, it's possible to do that. It's possible to make partial gallons. That's true. You can have a half gallon of ice cream, right? It's just an evening snack. And you'll notice that the point lies outside of the solution region. Well, that's not true. The whole point is that the point lies within the shaded or solution region. So it doesn't lie outside. C is out. D, yes, it's possible to produce this combination of ice cream. We can do that because it lies inside the solution region. That's the one. So again, we were just trying to see if the point was in the shaded region or not. Because it's in the shaded region, it works, and we are good to go.